Some said Quest was whack, but now is that the case? I have a quest to have a mic in my hand. Without that, it's like Kryptonite and Superman. So Shaheed come in with the sugar cuts.
Welcome to Spin That Back. This is Rick.
Americ.
And this is our spoiler review of, what the fuck are we reading?
It's a fucking shitty ass movie.
Our spoiler review for Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justin, directed by Zack Snyder. I guess, so like I said, it's a spoiler review, so if you haven't seen the movie, well, I don't know what to tell you.
I think most people have seen it by the end of the weekend. So.
So that's the issue and spoiler warning. Anyway, so I guess we'll just jump right into it with our overall thoughts of the movie and just a quick breakdown. So what do we think?
There's too much shit going on in this movie.
I
don't know why the fuck they have to do origin story for Batman every single time. Everybody knows who Batman is. Everybody knows his parents got killed. But yet, every fucking iteration of Batman needs to have an origin story.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, we'll get to that. So, I mean, obviously, that's the starting off point. Is we see the opening scene of the movie is obviously
Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, Bruce Wayne's parents getting capped. They kind of switch it up a little bit because he falls into that well or that cave with the bats. At his parents' funeral. Sometimes sometimes you see it, it's like he was out with his father and then they were out hunting or whatever.
It's the same shit.
Yeah, but it's the same basic premise. Story. I mean, we've seen it so many times. Like, I mean, how many times are you gonna do that? How many times are you
gonna show it?
But I think my biggest problem with this movie is that there's just way too many things going on.
All right, bitches, go through it. All right, so at the beginning we see actually that was a pretty cool scene. Is that part with Bruce Wayne running through Metropolis? How they kind of tied it into the events of Man of Steel.
Yeah.
Which I thought that was one of the good things.
That was one of the few highlights of the movie.
Yeah, so that scene was actually pretty cool. Like when he was driving through the city and the shit was getting torn down.
You see it in the trailer, so you're seeing all the last climactic battle at the end of Man of Steel. That's where this movie starts off. So we get to see Bruce Wayne's perspective because he was down on the street as it was happening. So you see, you get his point of view of the events and at the end of Man of Steel. And that's sort of the jumping off of his character into the movie.
Yeah. And that's where we see how everything ties in, which I thought was pretty cool how they kind of, tied all that shit into this whole story about obviously Batman thinks that Superman's just a danger to humanity. So that's why that sets up the whole premise of the story is how Batman wants to take down Superman and how they have opposing views on what's right or what's wrong.
Yeah, but that was the other issue I kind of had with the movie too is that I mean obviously the movie drew a lot of inspiration from The Dark Knight Returns, but in that comic obviously they have this battle and it's like a duality. It's Superman is supposed to be the good guy. And Batman is the good guy, but he kind of pushes the limits of the law a little bit, and it's kind of
except he doesn't give a fuck, and when he kills everybody.
Yeah, and that's sort of the problem. Yeah, but Superman kind of comes off as a dick too. He the movie's just really overly serious. It just and there's kind of no fun in it. That duality sort of Superman's character a little more on the light side, and then Batman is obviously a little older. A little more grizzled, he's a little more bitter, obviously, in this movie, and so that's sort of the opposing forces, and we really don't even get that in this movie. No. They're just both kind of just emo and shit, and sad about shit, and then, I mean I know that's part of their characters, but I mean that sort of conflict just really wasn't there for me in this movie. I don't think.
No, and then we get introduced to a little after that to Lex Luthor. Or should I say we get introduced to Jesse Eisenberg pretending to be another character, because that's what I fucking get is the same actor that we see in all of these movies. He didn't switch anything up. It's it's not even the different character he's playing. He's fucking playing himself basically. Yeah. And it's what the fuck? What? There's no
From the first scene, I just knew I was this fucking guy's gonna annoy the shit out of me for the next 2 hours. I mean, he was bad. And I like Jesse Eisenberg. He's been in a lot of movies that I've liked, but he just does not fit as Lex Luthor at all. No. And I know that was a lot of people's fears going into this movie, that he just really wasn't the right choice. And I mean, it really wasn't. Yeah. And now I don't know. I mean, obviously we get to the end, and I mean they're setting him up. Going into the future into the Justice League movie, which I don't know how that's gonna play into it, but I mean now they're kind of they're stuck with this guy.
I don't even think DC knows how that shit.
Now I mean now they're stuck with this guy. You know what I mean? And that's the problem is he didn't work, And so now, what are you gonna do with them? Are you gonna cast another actor in the role? I mean, it's kind of like too late at this point.
They should have kept that. Well, I know most people wanted that the guy that played Lex Luthor in Smallville. I don't even remember the actor's name.
Yeah, I forgot his name.
But I mean, from the very beginning, this was just. I mean, and I know people were talking shit about Ben Affleck, but Ben Affleck actually was one of the few like good parts in the movie.
Yeah,
was his. I think is. I mean, I know we're talking shit about him killing people. He doesn't give a fuck, but. I think him as a character, he plays it very well, you know? Like, that was just written in the screenplay to where he fucking, you know, how Zack Snyder decided to fucking direct it, you know, to where Batman just goes out and he doesn't kill everybody, but we do see him kill people in the fucking movie. But that has nothing to do with Ben Affleck, you know, like, his performance was good. I guess his version of The Dark Knight was really good, you know? It drew a lot from, obviously a lot from that comic book, The Dark Knight Returns, which is a fucking great comic book. That's just an amazing work of art in general. But
even down to his armor.
The suit, the armor, everything. Like it fit. Like he fit the role, and he did a good job. And that's really like one of the because throughout the whole movie,
that's one of the few highlights. Is that I think that was a wise choice in going into wherever the films are gonna go now. I think that was a good choice to have Ben Affleck as Batman from here on out.
Yeah, but see that's the problem. It's like. He's really the only character that I cared about in the whole movie. Like, I didn't give a shit about Lex Luthor. I didn't really care about Henry Cavill's Superman because he doesn't really emote anything. He doesn't have any...
Yeah.
He doesn't add any character to Superman, you know? He's just kind of there and he doesn't really do much. Yeah. That's the problem.
And they try to play up this whole romance. Like, they're trying to have this sort of drama between him and Lois Lane, like this relationship, and I didn't even buy into that shit either. It's like they're trying to create drama, like they're trying to create this emotional impact of like, you know, this connection between their two characters. Like, we're supposed to care for them, but I don't even care. Like, I don't give a shit. They could both die. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like. Okay, well, no shit to the spoiler talk. Superman dies. You know, he doesn't fucking die. But anyway, even though he apparently died, I didn't really give a shit.
I'm sure there were people in the crowd that thought he was going to die. Yeah. I'm like, well, how do you think they're going to make a Justice League movie if he dies?
Without Superman.
I mean, obviously, right at the end, you know, we see the gravel start rising up off of his coffin.
We know he didn't fucking die.
So, I mean, obviously.
But the point is, like, I don't really care about any of these characters, you know? Like, throughout the whole movie... Every time they kept cutting away from Bruce Wayne or Batman, I was like, fuck, man, like, I just wanted to see more Batman. And I think that's the problem is, like, I honestly would have been much happier seeing if they would have done The Dark Knight Returns into a movie. Like, if they would have just done that, which they took elements from that, and that's kind of what they went in that direction with the Batman character, but... Like, I would have preferred them to just kind of focus on that. It's kind of like a more Batman / Super... Because there's a way to tie in Superman a little more than they did in the comic book. Because it's mainly a Batman story. But they could have just kind of done that story and somehow tied in Superman. As opposed to them tying in Superman, Lex Luthor, fucking all the rest of the Justice League. Like, they were just throwing everything in there. And I think that's the problem is, like... They had that shit was so fucking shoehorned, like that scene when he sends that
email to
Diana Prince.
Yeah.
He sends her, or Wonder Woman, he sends her that email, and then we get little Aquaman, we get the Flash, and then which is the other one? Was it Cyborg?
I think it was.
Was it Cyborg?
Yeah,
I think it was. So. Yeah, so but that scene was just like it was in there just to set everything else up. It's like that scene with Thor and the Avengers.
Yeah.
It's like it's there to set up the future events, you know, which I don't really think you needed to do that, you know.
Yeah.
Like we know the shit's coming. There's no point in kind of setting it up if we know that we're eventually gonna get this movie anyway. You know?
And that was another one of my complaint. Well, one of my many complaints of the movie is that, especially early on, I mean, it felt like there were so many storylines going out. Like the editing is like horrible in this movie.
Yeah, that shit's terrible.
I mean, it's like
it's convoluted. Like there's too much going on, and the editing is just sloppy.
Like they're setting up one storyline, then it cuts to something else. Then there's like quick cuts of like other things going on, and it's like I was like, I mean, what the fuck is going on right now? I mean, there's like you have so many storylines going on. You got like the whole Clark Kent and Lois Lane storyline, and you got sort of Bruce Wayne storyline going on.
Wonder Woman.
Then you got they're sprinkling in like Wonder Woman here
Which
and there.
I think they fucked up by having Wonder Woman in the movie so much. They would have been better off if they would have just kind of left her character out of the I had a problem with them showing her in that fight at the end against Doomsday because like we already know when she's gonna come in. So as I'm watching the movie,
well,
the whole time I'm like,
that goes back to the trailer though. They ruined that in the trailer,
and I think that's where they fucked up. Like I think they would have been better off if they just kind of shown her as Diana the Prince, like in that scene at the party. Like if they would have just shown that in the trailer. And like, oh, we know she's in here. That's all we need to know. But then they went and they showed the scene at the end. We know exactly when she was going to come into the movie. Yeah. So the whole time I'm watching, I'm like, okay, this is the part in the trailer where she comes in, and you already you already knew that it was coming.
Yeah, I mean, and obviously, like right before then is when we have like the big fight between Batman and Superman. And I mean, it was cool, I guess. I mean, it wasn't even that great. I don't think.
Great, to be honest.
But at that point, you think that's sort of like the climax of the movie, right? But then because we already know what happens in the trailer, it's like, okay, well, we still have to get to Doomsday and then Wonder Woman coming. You know, we already know that all this shit is coming, so it just totally takes away from the impact because they sort of make it seem like, oh, Batman's gonna kill Superman, but you know that's not gonna happen because you know we still have the fight with Doomsday and Wonder Woman later on, and that's partly why it proved out to be true that was people's worst fears, that they had shown too much in the trailer, and that's totally what happened.
That's what it was. Like that trailer was bad. You know, it's like a perfect example. Like the Star Wars trailer that showed us hints of what we expect to see, but it doesn't reveal anything from the plot. Like we don't know what the hell it's gonna play out. Was opposed to this shit, like. We already knew where Wonder Woman was coming in, where they were all gonna join, and we knew that Batman wasn't gonna kill Superman, obviously.
Yeah.
Because you know, like then what would happen at the end? How are they gonna fight Doomsday? We already see them all, 3 of them right there, ready to fight him. So I'm like, okay, well we already know that they're gonna get over, they're gonna make up or whatever, and then eventually they're gonna come together and join forces to fight off Doomsday.
And they just totally took away from the impact of their fight. It kind of made it meaningless. It
was meaningless. Point. And if you have read The Dark Knight Returns, like that fight in the comic book is like that's like a huge part of the comic book. Like that, it all kind of boils down to those events to when they eventually come together and they fight. And in the comics, it was the shit. Like I loved it, but like just the way that they did it in here was just anticlimactic. Like you didn't really get anything special out of it.
Yeah.
When does the army? That shit didn't make any sense. Okay, so we see the part where Doomsday comes in, right?
Yeah.
And it's like Clark Kent or Superman comes in and they start fighting. And then, like, they get thrown into space. And, like, how the hell did the army have, like, the nuke ready to... Like, they were fucking notified as soon as you started happening?
Well, they always have a nuke ready, don't they?
That's fucking stupid, man. Because as soon as you started fighting, it's like everybody... Like, the whole army was already, like, there. I'm like, what the... Like, where did they... They didn't get any notice? Like, this bastard just came in and they started, attacking. And, I don't know, that was just kind of,
You know, the other thing, too, is, like, so the events... of this movie after the destruction of Metropolis, it picks up 18 months after.
Yes.
And like the whole city was like rebuilt already. Like goddamn, like you guys rebuilt like all Metropolis in a year and a half. It took them like 15 years to finish.
Superman helped them rebuild it.
It took them like 15 years to finish One World Trade Center in New York, and they in a month and a half they rebuilt all of Metropolis. Yeah. I thought that was kind of weird. But,
yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
that's just nitpicking, though.
I mean, can we like what other good stuff can we?
I don't know, man.
I mean, honestly, like Ben Affleck, I guess, as Batman was good.
He's really the.
I mean, there was that one fight, I guess, that was kind of like out of the Arkham Knight games or the Arkham games.
Yeah, see, like that shit was cool, and then that scene I thought was better than the Batman and Superman fight.
Yeah.
Like when we see Batman fight these thugs, like if you guys have played any of the Dark Knight, the Arkham games, the way he fights in those games. This is how he fought this group of guys in this one, and I thought it was the shit. But that's really the only scene that we get.
Even that dream sequence, the one with the guns, like the one in the desert, that was kind of cool.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. See, but I like those scenes with Batman alone more than I like the scenes with him fighting Super. Like I thought the scene with him and Superman wasn't really anything special, Like it was cool, but it wasn't anything special.
Yeah, I mean, and I really went in with I went in with low expectations just because I think this was one of those times where I didn't know so much of the movie before going in, and even like the early reviews. But I was like, you know what? Even on the way there, I said, I'm gonna keep an open mind. I'm kind of excited. I'll check it out. I had to decide for myself. So I went in, with some expectation. I said, well, you know what? I mean, the movie can't be that bad, and it was worse than I thought it was gonna be. It was bad. Like just the like I said, the editing was bad. I mean, I guess Hans Zimmer's music was pretty good. The score was pretty good.
It was alright. And you know what the problem, like Zach, like honestly, man, I like Watchmen. I really like Watchmen, and I like
Watchmen was dope.
Yeah, Watchmen was dope, but honestly, like besides Watchmen, well, actually, I still gotta watch his Dawn of the Dead. I actually never saw that, but besides
300 was good.
Yeah, 300 was cool, but it's like Zack Snyder's just he's just focused so much on the action and the visuals, like the plot, the acting, his actors like in his movies, like they don't really come through, you know, like he just as a director, like he knows how to direct action, but like story's not there.
I think maybe Watchmen might be like his magnum opus. I think that might be his peak. Because even just
and
like
a lot of people hate Watchmen.
Hey, go back and watch that movie. That's a great. Even just the opening credits alone on Watchmen is like one of the best. Like the opening credits alone are worth it. Like they tell so much story within just these one credit. So it just kind of trips me out that in 2.5 hours they almost can't tell as much story as they tell within like the opening credits of just like Watchmen.
Yeah, when was this shit in the end too?
Oh man, it was just way too long. Like the movie just kept going and going towards the end, and I was just like, man, like I said, and that's what I'm saying. I didn't want to bash this movie. I mean, why do I want to go into a movie hating it? Like if I'm spending my money like to go pay and watch this thing, it's like I want to enjoy it. So I don't want to go in hating it. Like I go in with like, okay, maybe I'll have a good time with this, and I just first thing I told him was like, man, that movie fucking sucked. Like after it was over, like that movie just would not end, man. Like I said, it was worse than I expected it to be.
Yeah, I think you hated it more than I did. I mean, I didn't really like it all that much, but I mean, I really like Ben Affleck. Like I said, just the Batman character is really the only one that I cared about. You know, like if it wasn't if Batman wasn't in the movie, I wouldn't really give a shit about any of these characters.
It's just gonna be interesting to see now where DC's gonna go because, like we were even talking about it on the way there, is that like I just don't get why. I mean, obviously, like DC has been getting bashed a lot, but because Marvel's movies have been so successful, and I don't know if they feel this need to like, okay, like now we have to kick off our own extended universe and all these movies and set up other characters in the Justice League and like I don't know if they're just like they just felt, because even when they first announced it, when they said it was Batman versus Superman, I was like, man, like that kind of seemed like they were like
jumped right into
they just like jumped right into it.
There's
and
no
like
build up.
Yeah, and like I really think that if they wouldn't have felt so rushed and just said, okay, if they make good movies and can roll out a universe kind of like what Marvel did, I think that would have worked out better, because I mean we could have gotten maybe another Superman movie, the Wonder Woman movie, maybe even Ben Affleck in his own Batman movie before we get into this, because even Wonder Woman's character, like it felt like we should have cared about her more, but we didn't, and she was good for however long she was in it, but like we sort of don't get what her purpose for being there is. Yeah. And I think if we would have had a movie setting that, I mean, maybe we'll get that.
And I know you get the fucking nerds and people that read the comics. I'm like, okay, but you're making the movie for the general audience. Like, you're making the movie for people that aren't too familiar with the comics, you know? So, like, you can't expect everyone to go in there knowing who these characters are, you got to set them up. And that's the problem. Like, they don't, like, I mean, fuck, I hate saying this shit, but, like, look at what Marvel did. Like, they went about it and they set up all these characters and like we came to know all these characters before they had their big movie. Yeah. And that's a problem with this, is like there's no setup. Like they just kind of threw everyone in there.
I mean, and even with Superman and Batman, it's like we know who these characters are.
Yeah, they're like two of the most famous superheroes ever.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, we don't need an origin story. We don't need like all that. I mean, it started off great with picking up at the end of Man of Steel, and that was a good jumping off point. But they just did nothing with it. I mean, it was just a total fucking waste. So like now, I mean, I don't even know if Zack Snyder's even gonna do the Justice League movie now. I mean, there were already rumors that he was gonna get pulled from it if this didn't do well. I mean, obviously it'll do well commercially. I mean, they're gonna get their money back. Yeah, but critically, I don't know. I have a feeling that they're not gonna want him around for the Justice League movie.
I really just wanted, like, honestly, like, I fuck, they should have just done it was kind of like what you said, like, they should have kind of set everyone up, like in their own sort of way, and I think, like, if they would have done, somehow done, like, the Dark Knight Returns, like, more towards that, like,
that would have been so dope if they would have done that.
If they would have done that, that would have been fucking great, and that would have, like, led everything up to, like, with Batman and Superman, and that could have kind of led into the Justice League, as opposed to, like, like, the Justice League and all this shit going down, like, in this one movie, Yeah. Because we get introduced to, like, Lex Luthor, and he's, like, a major character, so it's like we get his story, and then we get like a Batman origin story, and then we get Wonder Woman, and it's just like there's too much going on, I think that, like, there's good things in the movie, but they didn't know what to do with it. It seems like they just kind of said fuck it, like let's roll this shit out,
Yeah. I mean, like I said, Ben Affleck was good. Gal Gadot was pretty decent as Wonder Woman. I mean, she's in it for like 10 minutes maybe. Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, I just don't really even like. I mean, I can't even really think of anything else that I really dug about the movie.
I don't know. I hope they don't fuck it up, man. Cause
yeah, and even like Jeremy Irons was pretty decent as Alfred, but then like he's hardly even in it either.
Yeah, I wanted to see more of Jeremy Irons in that movie. Yeah, but yeah, he wasn't hardly in it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much it, I guess. I mean, we already went through the whole movie.
We just bashed the shit out of it, and like I said, I mean, like I didn't want to bash it. I mean, like I don't want to be one of those guys that just like fucking nitpicks about everything. I mean, I hate to be like that, but it just wasn't a good movie. I'm sorry.
No, it wasn't a good movie.
Yeah, it wasn't. So
it had good parts in it, but overall, like it was just a clusterfuck. Like there was too much shit going on.
Yeah, I mean, I gave it a fair shot. I wanted to go in like, I mean, I don't. When you want to go into a movie hating it, I mean, I wanted to like it, but it just wasn't there. But so we want to give a review.
Bitch, that was our review.
Yeah, but we got to give a score. All right, so you already know what it is. I give it
100% rat ass. Hit me, baby.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't hate it as much as he did, but yeah, it wasn't a good movie, so I gave it.
I threw away so much money. You have no idea.
All right, so let us know what you guys think down in the comments. If you happen to see the movie, hey, I mean, I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of people that.
Oh, Steve, I know Steve. If you're watching that, I know you fucking loved it, man. But hey,
well, I don't know. Hey, everybody's entitled to their opinion. I mean, I'm sure there'll be people that think that I'm totally in the wrong, that I just didn't get it. But I mean, because I can't claim to be the biggest comic book guy, but. I mean, I've seen plenty of them at this point to know like which ones are good and which ones aren't, and I just didn't like this one. So, I mean, let us know what you guys think down in the comments. I mean, let us know why we're wrong, why I'm wrong, maybe what you dug about the movie that maybe we didn't talk about. I mean, we can go on and on, but we can only bash it so much. So, let us know what you think down in the comments below. Hit the thumbs up button, share, subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one. Rest in peace, 5.